Date, Tuesday 8th to Thursday 10th July 2025. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Venue, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Special guest of honor, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Guest of honor, Senator Godswill Akpabio, President of the Senate. Host, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, Speaker, House of Representatives. For inquiries, contact Dr. Jerry Uho on 0803-327-8068. Signed, Honorable Aki Rotimi, Spokesperson, House of Representatives.
From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu reaffirms federal government's commitment to surmounting what he calls the intractable security challenges facing the nation. All Progressives Congress holds South House stakeholders meeting in Benin City, Edo State. Party adopts President Tinubu as sole candidate for 2027. And Hyperdeck donates relief materials to internally displaced persons in the Yelwata community of Benue State. And at least 27 people, including children, have died in flash flooding that has swept through Texas.
And on business news, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies has cranked up its oil output plans, adding 548,000 barrels per day to the market in August.
And on sports news tonight, world number one Jannik Sinner delivers a near flawless performance to defeat Spain's Pedro Martinez, securing his spot in the Wimbledon last 16.
The National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu has reaffirmed the commitment of the current administration to surmount what he describes as the inherited security challenges in the country. Speaking in Abuja at the 50th anniversary of the Nigerian Defense Academy's 18 regular course, Mr. Ribadu said the country has been on a dangerous crossroads since 2022, grappling with multiple crises that has threatened its unity, stability, and future before the coming of President Bola Tinubu. According to him, the federal government has made bold strides in restoring security and rebuilding national confidence.
Gentlemen, we are talking of golden anniversary.
47 out of the 149 cadets who enrolled as members of 18 regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1975 are here for their 50th anniversary celebration. The event begins on a solemn note as 75 members of the course who lost their lives in the 26th September 1992 C-130 air crash at Ejigbo in Lagos State are remembered.
We were 149 altogether in the June-July 1975 set of 18 regular course and short service course SS-10, comprising of 74 cadets in the regular and 75 in the short service counterpart. Sadly, as at today, with deep sense of feeling and by the will of God Almighty, we were only 47 of us alive.
Members of the association received commendation for keeping the flag flying.
As one who had the privilege of welcoming you into the military as your cadet battalion commander 50 years ago, I cannot but overemphasize my degree of elation being with you tonight.
The state of insecurity in the country comes to the fore as members of the association make recommendations.
This fine relationship and bonding makes me think that perhaps we should be thinking of compulsory or mandatory military training for Nigerians, perhaps starting with the National Youth Service.
Security is compulsory for any society to develop.
However, the National Security Advisor believes the nation is recording daily improvement in the security situation.
Dear veterans, I'm proud to report that under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's leadership, we have recorded significant gains across all these fronts. These achievements from 2023 to today, 2025, represent the power of strategic thinking, coordinated operations, and unwavering commitment. Qualities I know you are all embodied.
The event ends on a cheerful note as members look forward to the next reunion in 2026.
In the meantime, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has commended Governor Uba Sani for his inclusive style of governance, as well as the success of the Kaduna peace model. The Army Chief made the commendation when he paid a courtesy visit to the governor at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House, Kaduna. He explained that the effort has contributed significantly to restoring peace and security across Kaduna State.
For us to note the fact that since he came on board, Nigeria has become, Kaduna State has become more peaceful. And there's no other reason besides the fact that you run an inclusive government and you take everyone to be Nigerians rather than one section or the other. And for that, I want to thank you. Before now, places like the stretch between Kaduna, Benue down to Tegina was a no-go area. The same thing, we had issues on Kaduna, Abuja Expressway. But that is in the past now. So I want to thank you particularly for that, for making Kaduna better and safer. Then it's important for us to also thank Your Excellency for the support you've given the Army through the 1 Division Nigerian Army since you came into office. It's been a good one for the Army because we've had all your support. And representing the Army here with the topmost echelon of the.
On his part, Governor Sani acknowledged the contribution of the Army to the security situation in Kaduna through effective collaboration with other security agencies.
I will also not fail to acknowledge and appreciate the commendable way in which the Army and indeed the entire armed forces have subordinated itself to civil democratic authority. This is crucial for a healthy democracy and a stable society. We thank the Nigerian Army for helping to stabilize the security situation in Kaduna State and Nigeria as a whole. We are happy with the effective coordination and synergy among security forces in our state and across the country. Our non-kinetic approach, better known as Kaduna Peace Model, has yielded very positive results. We have restored peace and stability to many communities in Kaduna State. The Kaduna State government will continue to give logistical support to the Nigerian Army to enhance its operational effectiveness and efficiency. We shall continue to explore new areas of collaboration and partnership in furtherance of our commitment to the safety and security of our people.
Staying with security matters, the Taraba state government believes that the threats are increasingly sophisticated and require equal response to win the fight against insecurity in the country. The secretary to the state government, Mr. Gebon Ketabs, stated this during the closing ceremony of the 6th Brigade Nigeria Army Training on Advanced Weapons Handling, Basic First Aid and Drivers Retraining course. He stressed that no single security agency can tackle the situation alone.
For 2 weeks, these drivers of various security agencies involved in efforts to combat insecurity in Taraba State were trained on advanced weapons stripping, assemblage and handling, basic first aid, and combat driving in all situations, especially during operations.
To lift the casualty to the stretcher, to transport the casualty to the nearest medical facility.
The training is part of efforts to enhance proficiency, safety of troops, and minimize casualties.
The training package lasted for a period of 2 weeks and has broadened the participants' knowledge on introduction to pistol, FN and AK-47 rifles, weapons stripping, cleaning, assembling, and operating procedures.
The commander of Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke reveals that the training will enhance interagency collaboration and coordination for effective security operations.
In a world where security challenges are ever evolving, the importance of well-trained personnel cannot be overemphasized. Your ability to respond effectively to emergencies, manage crises, and maintain law and order is crucial in ensuring the safety of our communities.
Governor Agu Kefas is represented by the Secretary to the State Government, who calls for increased collaboration among security agencies, highlighting that security dynamics in the state is getting increasingly sophisticated.
Together, we can work towards building a more secure environment for our citizens. The brigade has set the tone for this collaboration, and I look forward to continuing our efforts together. As we reflect on the significance of this training, it is essential to recognize that security is a collective responsibility. The safety of our communities depends on the readiness and professionalism of our security personnel.
The Taraba State Government was honored by the Nigerian Army for its overwhelming support, as well as those who distinguished themselves in the course of the 2 weeks intensive training.
To politics now. The All Progressives Congress South-South Zone has unanimously adopted President Bola Tinubu as its sole candidate for re-election in 2027. The declaration was part of resolutions reached at the conclusion of the party's South-South stakeholders meeting held today in Benin City, the Edo State capital. In the communique read by the APC National Vice Chairman South-South, Mr. Victor Gaidom, the group also adopted the 4 APC governors in the region to fly the party's flag in their various states come 2027. Our correspondent Jessica Olobusere has this report.
Accredited delegates, past and present governors, lawmakers and other leaders from Edo, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River and River States settle in at the Victor Waifo Creative Hub on Airport Road in Benin City, the Edo State capital, for the APC South-South stakeholders meeting focused on the renewed hope in action and strengthening the party's mobilization and governance in the region. Party leaders, including the acting national chairman, Ali Daluri, and the Senate president, Senator Godswill Akpabio, are also in attendance. The national vice chairman, APC South-South, Victor Gaidom, in his opening remarks, highlights the importance of the region in the Nigerian project, noting its past record of being with the center. He applauds the governors who recently decided to align with the APC.
Since independence, this is the first time that the South-South was enmeshed in opposition politics. We have always been with the center. However, in the past few years, we found ourselves in the opposition politics in contradiction with the politics of our founding fathers. It is in this context that I salute the courage and patriotism of our governors who recently retreated to enable South-South to embrace central politics.
The host of the South-South Stakeholders Meeting, the governor of Edo State, Mando Kwewulu, in delivering his welcome address, lists his administration's achievements and acknowledges the support of President Bola Tinubu in efforts to develop Edo State.
When we came, they said Edo best. There was nothing best in Edo system of education. We introduced school access program. We started renovating all schools to make the schools habitable for our children. On infrastructure, we have awarded over 273 kilometer roads to make our transportation easier for us. How could we have done this? It would have not been possible if we does not have a president, a responsible president behind us.
As the APC state chairman, in their speeches, maintained their support for the sustenance of the Renewed Hope agenda, the Cross River State chairman adds an appeal.
I stand here to present a very lacrimal position, that a position of MD, the position of executive secretary, chairman position normally comes, but executive secretary, MD position, there is no cross-riverian that is occupying any of such position today in Nigeria. At the state level, the governor is doing well. At the federal level, we want better position to come to Cross River State. Let us stop struggling for MD positions that come to the zone, because Cross River State is at a weaker line. I make this appeal with the hope that God will hear my prayers.
The acting national chairman of the party, who describes the event as his first assignment, encourages the APC in the South-South to maintain their support for President Tinubu and his policies.
I call on the people of South-South to remain united and continue to support Mr. President, his policies. Let me assure you that we as a party and a government are aware that South-South is important component of our nation. Let us therefore work together to strengthen the unity of this country and promote inclusive development.
The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who rails out impactful transformation and reforms introduced by the President Tinubu-led administration, encourages the region to do right and supports the president.
Let us support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not just in words, but in mobilizing our people, enlightening our communities, and defending our future. As 2027 beckons, we should understand the times and know and do what all Nigerians should do. Support this president to complete this transformation of our country.
The meeting culminates in the release of a communique where the APC South-South declares its unanimous adoption of President Tinubu as sole candidate for the 2027 election.
We hereby unanimously adopt Mr. President, His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, as our sole candidate for the 2027 election. Not be so that.
Among other resolutions reached is the adoption of the 4 APC governors as sole candidates in the next governorship elections in their states.
In part 2, after the break, Hyperdeck donates relief materials to internally displaced persons in the Yewata community of Benue State. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.
Welcome to Wadibet. The thrill is called sports bets and casino games. The stakes are rising. Play your way, the chance is near. With competitive odds, the win is clear. Wadibet, bet smart, win big, feel alive. Lightning payouts, non-stop vibes. Your journey to greatness, it's here, it's begun. Wadibet!
In the 21st century, Nigeria cannot be an independent nation without technology independence.
In a world racing towards the future, out of Africa is Zynox Technologies, a Nigerian tech group with major global certifications, proven capacity and a bold vision to domesticate world-class technologies.
From powering critical government infrastructure, homes and businesses, to delivering some of Africa's most integrated ICT projects, we are redefining what's possible, and we take responsibility. And with our efficient high-power renewable energy solutions, we are bringing sustainable power to homes and businesses.
Let's build a stronger tech nation, powered by Zynox. Zynox. Anticipate the future.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like traffic lights.
Tasty Tom will surely give you value for money, because Tasty Tom tomato mix is thick. A little is enough to get your desired quantity of stew and soup. No unfair deal.
Tasty Tom makes me so happy. The taste is always on point.
And it doesn't color your meat or your chicken.
Because of Tasty Tom tomato mix, the taste of my food never changes. So my customers keep coming.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food, so I buy quality from the onset. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix.
Tasty Tom, for tasty meals good for you. Introducing Tasty Tom in Peppy and Onion Mix.
The government of Enugu State is happy to announce the launch of Enugu Air, a state-owned commercial airline, being part of the integrated blueprint of the Governor Peter Mbah administration for a modern, multimodal transport ecosystem and its vision to make Enugu a major aviation hub. The inaugural routes will establish a golden triangle with Enugu at its core, connecting Abuja and Lagos, and subsequently extending to Port Harcourt, Owerri, Benin, Kano, and other strategic cities across Nigeria and beyond. So, join us as we take this bold and historic stride. Date, Monday, July 7th, 2025. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu. Special guest of honor, Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development. Chief host, His Excellency, Dr. Peter Mbah, Governor, Enugu State. Tomorrow is here. Signed, Dr. Obiozo, Commissioner for Transportation, Enugu State.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu reaffirms federal government's commitment to surmounting what he calls the intractable security challenges facing the nation. All Progressives Congress holds South-South stakeholders meeting in Benin City, Edo State. Party adopts President Tinubu as sole candidate for 2027. And Hyperdeck donates relief materials to internally displaced persons in the Owata community of Benue State. And at least 27 people, including children, have died in flash floods that have swept through Texas. The President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has appealed to stakeholders and participants at the ongoing 2025 public hearing on the 1999 Constitution Review to make presentations and submissions devoid of politics. Senator Akpabio made this known in Ikota Ekpene, Akwa Ibom State, while declaring the public hearing open in the South-South zone. Stakeholders in the Southeast region also gathered at the International Conference Center in Enugu, where they focused on the need to create more states in the region.
Leaders and stakeholders representing all ethnic groups in the South-South geopolitical zone gather in Ikota Ekpene, Akwa Ibom State for the public hearing on the 1999 Constitution Review organized by the 10th Senate. Chairman of the session and former governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Seriake Dixon, opens the session with an assurance that all memoranda and presentations will receive a fair hearing.
On behalf of this committee, we would like to thank you for what you are doing, leadership, and also to assure you that this zone, as well as the country, is counting on you. And we know that you will do your best and you will not let us down. And for me, we have not always agreed on everything. But you know, and I know, and we all know, that on matters that have to do with the interest of our people, we have always agreed.
Prominent among issues in focus include state creation, state policing, gender inclusion, electoral reforms, minority rights, social security, inclusion of traditional rulers and governance, among other issues. Demands are made for the creation of 6 additional states in the South-South zone. These are Isoko in Edo, Anyoma State, Ogoja in Cross River, Obolo State in Akwa Ibom, Atlantic City State in Rivers, and Toruko State out of Delta State.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says that a state would have a minimum of 3 times 10 federal constituencies and a maximum of 4 times 10. Akwa Ibom has only 26. It has not met the minimum 30. And we are urging that state constituencies be created strictly on the basis of the population. And if you follow the population, the local governments of Esienudum, Uyo, Ibiono, Eket, Orugonam, and Parenin have the requisite population to have their state constituencies created.
The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, urges participants to take advantage of the opportunity to present genuine aspirations of their people without political manipulation.
The review of the Constitution is not a sign of weakness, but it is a sign of strength. It is not a complaint against the past, but it is rather a commitment to the future. We are meant not to abandon, but to realign, to adopt our national charter to the changing realities, to the dreams and demands of the good people of Nigeria, and particularly the demands of the times.
Stakeholders in the Southeast region converge on the International Conference Center, Enugu, for the Senate Committee public hearing on Constitution Amendment. Some of the issues that dominated discussions here are state creation and rotational presidency.
The potential for other states are vast. We have already reserves. We have gas reserves in Ihabiabu. We have the potential for viability economically. We have extensive land for agriculture. We have navigable sea, whose conference ends in the river and the Benue. We have manpower resources. We have one of the best universities, thanks to us in the way, and our people took to education, and so we have many professors who can manage these things.
The women, too, had their say as they pushed for the reservation of seats for women in Parliament.
We are asking for the alteration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to create reserved seats for women in the legislature by passing the bill HB 1349.
The 2-day public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution is taking place simultaneously in the 6 geopolitical zones across the country.
Some leaders of opposition political parties recently formed a coalition to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in the 2027 general elections. Some of the politicians who midwife the coalition have described it as Nigeria's last hope, while accusing the ruling party of plunging the country into chaos. Our next report examines the dynamics of the nation's political landscape following the emergence of the opposition coalition movement.
On Wednesday, July the 2nd, 2025, some leaders of the opposition political parties adopted the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as the alternative platform, where they plan to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, in the 2027 general elections. Although the ADC officially issued membership card to the former Senate President, Senator David Mark, and the former Osun State Governor, Mr. Rauf Aregbesola, who both officially resigned from their parties and joined the ADC, the composition of the coalition still comprises politicians who belong to other political parties. For instance, in March this year, the former governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai, defected to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. There is also no official communication that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is leaving the People's Democratic Party. The same is true of Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023. At his inaugural speech as the interim national chairman of the ADC, former Senate President David Mark highlights the objectives of the coalition.
Let it be known today across Nigeria and beyond, the opposition is united. The platform is ADC. The time is now. The mission is clear. Rescue Nigeria, rebuild Nigeria, return power to the people.
The journey for a platform to pursue these objectives started some 18 months ago, and the decision to adopt ADC stems from the uncertainty surrounding the application for the registration of a new political party called ADA, which is still being processed by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
When ADA is registered, the management of ADC, as the party officers, will decide what happens next to ADA. But it has to be registered first. It is a choice of Nigerians that we go and register ADA, and we have gone ahead to register ADA.
The adoption of ADC as the official platform for the opposition coalition in 2027 is generating reactions from political actors.
I heard the man say to rescue Nigeria. Nigerians are angry. The man was Senate President. For how many times? 2 times, 8 years. Is it not? Yeah. Nigerians were happy.
In that hall, what you saw were former this, former that, former this, former that, former this, former vice president, former governors, former ministers, all former this, former that, and all taking Nigeria to former glory. They never take Nigeria forward. The same people who have ruled Nigeria for the last 4 decades, where are we as a country?
Analysts also speak on the possible impact of the coalition in governance and the forthcoming 2027 general elections.
The burden is really on those who are championing this cause for coalition to demonstrate that they are different. And there are 3 ways they can actually do this. Is first, that whilst you have, an assemblage of people with different idiosyncrasies, that they're able to forge a common ideology around what they stand for, as a coalition. Is it about the people or it's about individual interest? The second is how they structure, the mechanisms of decision-making, of leadership selection. If it's about the interest of those individuals, and when you have money determining how decisions are made in the parties, then they are not any way different.
It is still over 20 months to the 2027 general elections, but the political race is already gaining momentum and is expected to intensify in the days ahead. Nigerians are closely observing how the coalition will navigate the unfolding process to realize its ambition for 2027.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies just cranked up its oil output plans, adding a hefty 548,000 barrels per day to the market. That's on Business News. Please stay
Our tradition may differ, but true respect isn't just in gestures. It's in understanding, in making space for others, and in embracing our differences with warmth. It's true respect and tolerance that will build a united, stronger nation where everyone has a place. This is the real Nigeria.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like traffic lights.
Tasty Tom will surely give you value for money because Tasty Tom tomato mix is thick. A little is enough to get your desired quantity of stew and soup. No unfair deal.
Tasty Tom makes me so happy. The taste is always on point.
And it doesn't color your meat or your chicken.
Because of Tasty Tom tomato mix, the taste of my food never changes. So my customers keep coming.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food, so I buy quality from the onset. Use Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix.
Tasty Tom, for tasty meals good for you. Introducing Tasty Tom in Peppy and Onion Mix.
Welcome to Odibet, the ultimate destination for sports betting and thrilling casino games.
It's time to level up your game. Odibet. Bet smart, win big, play with confidence. Unbeatable odds, non-stop action, fast payouts. And it's all safe, secure, and just a click away. What do you bet? Bet smart, win big, play with confidence. What do you bet?
Welcome back. The National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission has delivered a consignment of relief materials to internally displaced persons, especially those displaced during the water attack in Benue State. The acting managing director of the commission, Mr. Jumo Gabi, presented the relief materials to the Benue State government at the office of the State Emergency Management Agency in Makodi, the state capital. Mr. Gabi used the opportunity to appeal to the people to avoid environmental practices that can lead to flooding.
Officials of the Benue State government gathered with a delegation from the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission for the presentation of relief items to internally displaced persons from the recent Yellowater attack. The items include over 100 units of mattresses, bags of rice, oil, seasoning, and mats offloaded at the warehouse of the Benue State Emergency Management Agency in Makodi, the state capital. The management of the commission presents the items to the Benue State government as a gesture of commiseration with the people, while urging the people to be security conscious to prevent future attacks.
We need to increasingly be concerned about our environment. There is need for immense intelligence, security gathering intelligence, so that our security personnel can be well informed in good time of any attack that is imminent. The Commission is offering some relief materials, succor.
In response, the Deputy Governor of Benue State paints a picture of the humanitarian crisis in Yellowater while promising to ensure judicious distribution of the items.
I have with me here the inventory of the items that have been donated by NHYPADEC. It's our solemn pledge to you that these materials will be utilized for the purposes for which you have donated them.
The Commission used the opportunity to sensitize residents on the environmental activities that is responsible for flooding in the area.
Besides the relief materials, we are equally into flood control. Presently, we are on desilting of the channels to desilting of the channels. And that one is to make sure the channels are free so that it can reduce incidences of flood.
A lot of the floods that you see happen are caused by us. People are building on flood plains. So what part of our awareness is to let people know that they can't be building on flood plains.
The Commission is pledging to be actively involved in addressing the impact of floods in Benue State, particularly within the context of the Benue River's overflow.
In Delta State, residents of one of the oldest Ishekiri communities in Warri Kingdom have accused Tantita Security Services of violating their ancestral rights under the guise of pipeline protection and have asked the government to come to their aid. However, the security outfit has denied the claims, insisting that it has not encroached on any land.
Anger and frustration over spills in Omadino, one of the oldest Ishekiri communities in Warri Kingdom, as residents accused Tantita Security Services of violating their ancestral rights under the guise of pipeline protection. At the heart of the dispute is what the community calls an orchestrated attempt to annex Omadino and other Ishekiri territories like Iwere, Dibi, and Escravos corridor.
We have been complaining the activities of Tantita Surveillance Security. Their mission is now on land grabbing, land annexation. They are renaming our communities. They have pursued our people from the creek. After the advent of the Warri crisis, we have been calling on the federal government. It is their primary responsibility that, yes, crisis has come and gone. We want to go back to our land. As I speak to you, all our people, our workers in the oil facilities, they are all being driven out of the creek because of what the federal government have put before them.
They also allege that Tantita is falsely labeling these areas as Ijaw land, calling on the federal government to immediately revoke Tantita's surveillance contract and launch a full investigation.
We are calling on the federal government, please stop Tantita contracts. We have people who have been doing the surveillance contract before now, credible people. We don't have this complaint from various ethnicity against them.
Meanwhile, some days ago, some stakeholders and employees of Tantita Security Services disassociated themselves from what they described as a slanderous campaign against the firm, saying it's not encroaching on anybody's land.
The allegations made against Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited are baseless, malicious, and outright fabrications designed to mislead the public, deceive the presidency, and distract the National Security Advisor from the tangible gains we have made in curbing oil theft and restoring order in the creeks.
They reiterate that the security outfit is creating a positive impact in curbing oil theft in the Niger Delta region and should be allowed to continue its good work as mandated by the federal government.
Indigents of the oil-rich Obiti community in Ohaje-Egbema local government area of Imo State have staged a protest against Sterling Global Oil Company, accusing the firm of gross marginalization, neglect of its corporate social responsibilities, intimidation of locals, and the unlawful detention of a community leader. The demonstrations barricaded the main entrance of the company's flow station to demand the immediate release of their leader and creation of more job opportunities, especially for the youths. Our correspondent, Eitope Kute, has this report.
Obiti community, one of the oil-producing areas in Ohaje-Egbema, hosts Sterling Global Oil Company, a major oil exploration company in Imo State. Despite its natural endowment, the community suffers from poor infrastructure, including dilapidated roads and a lack of basic amenities.
This one is good, you know.
Residents here claim the presence of the oil company is more of a burden, as it has brought more hardship than development. They accuse the company of environmental pollution, neglect of the host community, and failure to adhere to the provisions of the Petroleum Industrial Act, PIA, which mandates oil companies to prioritize the welfare and development of their host communities.
Out of the oil prospecting companies in Ohaje land, Sterling Global stands out as one oil company that violates human rights, that does not adhere to rules and regulations guiding oil exploration. They have done so many bad things that the people of Ohaje have resolved that it must be addressed once and for all.
Most alarming to the protesters is the alleged unlawful arrest and continued detention of Upin Nwagbo, a prominent youth leader and vocal advocate for the rights of the community. They insist his incarceration is a deliberate attempt to silence agitation for justice and equitable treatment.
Just because he's demanding his right, the few youths of Haji that are working in the company, they are owing them for 3-4 months. He came here to demand they arrange for police and arrest him and take him to Abuja. We have explored every means to appeal for them to release him. It fell in their deaf ears. And today, we mobilized the entire 19 communities, both women, youths, and the men, come out here. It is peaceful in the sense that we are not destroying any of their facilities. We are doing this demonstration under the ambit of law.
On the spot, federal lawmaker representing the area, Eugene Dibiago, expresses dissatisfaction with the conduct of the oil company, adding that the issue has been formally raised on the floor of the National Assembly and that the company has been summoned to respond to the allegations.
The House has taken a very decisive step. They have invited Sterling Global because the 10th House is a very purposeful house. Our Speaker does not joke with the welfare of Nigerians. And that was why he has given it attention. On the 15th of this month, we have invited the Committee on Public Petition, constituted by the Speaker, has invited Sterling Global to come and appear before them to ask them questions why they are keeping that young man. What did the young man do? What did he do? Only that the man asked questions.
The base manager of Sterling Global Oil Company, Power Kuma, appeals for calm, assuring the protesters that their grievances have been noted and will be forwarded to the appropriate authorities for prompt attention.
You already hand over the letter to the base manager. Whatever in our hand, we will pass message to the management. The leadership of the community or the Haji of Udema, I requested this. Let's review it. And peacefully way, whatever instruction come, already Chairman already mentioned, we can sit down in a good place in Overi, whatever, and then we will discuss. Because if you say shut down, this is not a solution.
As the protesters await concrete action, they say they will not relent in demanding justice, equity, and the release of their detained leader. Ejito Pakute, Channels Television News.
Let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Ladi Williams has all the details.
Well, thanks, Melinda. We have big news from the oil market today that could affect everything from gas prices at the pump to the global economy. We see OPEC Plus, the influential group of oil-producing nations, have just announced they're significantly speeding up the oil output hikes. Starting in August, they'll be adding an extra 548,000 barrels per day to the market. This is a larger increase than many expected, and it's already sparking conversations about what this accelerated production means for oil prices and the wider economic landscape. And to financial services now, after a multi-year halt, Nigerian financial institutions have reinstated the capability for their customers to conduct international transactions using narrow-denominated debit and credit cards. This significant move, which sees banks like UBA, Wema Bank, and GTB resuming these services, means individuals can now utilize their local cards for global online purchases, point-of-sale transactions, and ATM withdrawals abroad. The initial suspension, which lasted for several years, was largely a consequence of severe foreign exchange shortages in the country. And the decision to lift these restrictions comes amid signs of improved liquidity within the foreign exchange market, a narrowing gap between official and parallel market rates, and a reduction in speculative trading. And the Nigerian Naira has wrapped up the first week of July 2025 on a strong note across various segments of the foreign exchange market. This renewed vigor is largely thanks to improved liquidity. At the official market, the local currency saw a marginal but welcome appreciation, gaining 1 Naira 1 kobo to close at 1,528 Naira to the dollar. And that's up from the 1,529 Naira 57 kobo recorded on Tuesday, which was the first trading day of the month. The market was active for 4 days this week. Even the parallel market, often called The black market saw the positive shift. The Naira strengthened there as well, appreciating by 3 Naira during the week to settle at 1,557 Naira per dollar on Friday, compared to the 1,560 Naira quoted on Tuesday. This newfound stability and improved foreign exchange liquidity are key factors behind the recent developments with the financial institutions. And now to the markets. See, the Nigerian exchange wrapped up the week on a positive trajectory with the all-share index climbing by 0.83% and the market capitalization appreciating by 0.50%. These gains pushed the index to 120,989 points and the market value to 76 trillion naira. Investors were notably more active on the exchange this week with a total turnover of 5.4 billion shares valued at 108 billion traded across 118,000 deals. This marks a significant increase from the previous week's figures. Financial services industry dominated the activity chart by volume, accounting for a substantial 2.7 billion shares valued at 34.53 billion naira across 42,000 deals. This sector alone contributed over half of the total equity turnover volume at 50.12%. Following closely was the oil and gas industry with 852 million shares traded worth a significant 39.83 billion naira in 10,555 deals. The services industry rounded out the top three, recording a turnover of 400.19 million shares valued at 2.5 billion naira. And turning attention now to the unlisted securities market, the NASD OTC market closed the week with some notable movements. The NASD unlisted securities index rose by 1.42%, reaching 3,398 points, and the overall market capitalization also saw a 1.42% increase, closing at 1.99 trillion naira. However, despite this positive shift in value, trading activity was a bit subdued. The total volume of shares traded decreased to 2.8 million, and the total value of transactions also dipped to 87.10 million. A total of 131 deals were executed, with 16 stocks traded during the week. Among the top gainers this week, Food Concepts PLC led the charge with an impressive 24.41% increase, closing at 2.65 naira, and Air Liquid PLC followed with a 10.08% gain, reaching 9.94 naira. And Double One PLC also saw a strong 10% rise, closing at 254 naira. On the other side of the ledger, Fries Bank and Pina Wamco Nigeria PLC was among the top losers with a 4.22% decline. And that's it for me. And business is back to Melinda.
Many thanks, Adi. The federal government is redefining the health sector by not just addressing disease outbreak, but building a resilient healthcare system capable of withstanding future threats, including climate change. The coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, made a statement at the third convocation lecture of the Federal University Kazare in Gombe State, where he delivered a paper titled The Evolution of Medical Sciences, Past, Present and Future. Professor Pate highlighted the launch of the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative in 2023, which aims to transform healthcare delivery across the country.
In 2023, with the advent of this administration, the President launched the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative as part of the Renewed Hope. And the vision was to reframe health as an issue that is linked to our national security, to be an economic enabler and a platform for harnessing our nation's capital, human capital, to reap the dividend of our large population. Within the context of infectious diseases, human diseases, but also challenges that we're facing like climate change and other challenges that drive population health outcomes in the wrong direction. And that is why, under the President's leadership and through his agenda, we are embedding climate resilience into our overall national health sector response. And the effort that we're driving includes not only dealing with broader public health issues, the core public health functions, expanding primary health care, strengthening our federal facilities, building human resources, improving our surveillance systems, our economic value chain, but also linking to the educational system.
Latest from the world of sports with Olumide Macaulay.
Thank you, Melinda. Welcome to Sports News. We get started tonight with tennis. Novak Djokovic recorded his 100th win at Wimbledon with a dominant victory over Serbian Davis Cup teammate Mijomir Kekmanovic to remain on course for a record 25th Grand Slam title. The 38-year-old has dropped just 12 games in his last 2 matches after romping to a 6-3, 6-love, 6-4 victory in just under 2 hours on court. Djokovic's 100 wins puts him behind Roger Federer, 105 victories in the men's game, and 9-time winner Martina Navratilova's all-time record of 120.
And the 7 times champion still believes that number 8 can be his. No compromise made for his fellow countrymen. A demolition.
To the top seed, Jannik Sinner, who made short work of Spain's Pedro Martinez, reached the last 16 at Wimbledon without dropping a set. The Italian 3-time Grand Slam champion eased past his 52nd ranked opponent, who was struggling with a shoulder problem, 6-1, 6-3, in less than 2 hours. Sinner has lost just 17 games in total across his 3 matches in the first week of Wimbledon, in contrast to defending champion Carlos Alcaraz, who's shown patchy form.
Walked off the court.
Well, Jannik Sinner wins. He hasn't lost serve, he hasn't lost a set, and he's never lost in the 3rd round of a Grand Slam championship.
For the women, former champion Elena Rybakina became the latest star to suffer a shock Wimbledon exit, losing to Denmark's Clara Thorsen 7-6, 6-3. Rybakina won her maiden Grand Slam title at Wimbledon in 2022 and had reached the semi-finals last year, but the 26-year-old's hopes of another strong run were ended by 23rd seed Tesson in a 3rd-round tie on court 2. Away from tennis, staying with the women, but this time to football. As the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations kicks off tonight, all eyes turn to Nigeria's Super Falcons with an unparalleled 9 WAFCON titles already in their kitty. The Falcons embark on a historic run and quest to secure their 10th continental crown, solidifying their legendary status. Their campaign begins with a crucial Group B encounter against Tunisia, a match that will set the tone for their aspirations in the tournament. The Super Falcons arrived in Morocco with a blend of seasoned veterans and exciting new talent, all eager to demonstrate why they are considered perennial favorites. To the Club World Cup. Paris Saint-Germain reached the Club World Cup. To motorsport, Max Verstappen outpaced both McLaren and the resurgent Ferraris to claim a spectacular pole position for the Red Bull with a last gasp lap in today's tense qualifying session for the British Grand Prix. The 4-time world champions delivered a best lap in 1 minute and 24.892 seconds to outpace championship leader Oscar Piastri of McLaren by 0.103 seconds, with Lando Norris 3rd in the 2nd McLaren. Mercedes' George Russell was 4th ahead of the Ferraris of 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. That's it on Sports News. Melinda, back to you.
Thanks, Olumide. On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says his administration is working closely with local authorities to respond to the emergency in Texas after at least 27 people were confirmed dead and many others are still missing amid flash flood on Independence Day. According to U.S. authorities, 27 girls are amongst those unaccounted for after the floods devastated a Christian summer camp located on the banks of the Guadalupe River. Search and rescue is still ongoing in order to save those still trapped under the rubble. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick confirmed that the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet, which has worsened the flood situation in Texas. And the main news again. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to surmount what he calls the intractable security challenges in the nation. That's the news at 10 tonight. On behalf of the team, good night.
This government has borrowed more than government of Jonathan Buhari put together. Some government officials in this capital of Abuja commissioning post stations where we lost 20-something soldiers in Niger. Is commissioning road more important than our soldiers that are dying? I don't need a day more than